test case, and if they can get away with Lewisham, that's the end of the NHS, because they can get away with anything. Not only do they want to close the A&E and the maternity, but they want to take away 60% of the land and the buildings that Lewisham Hospital occupies and sell it.
Save our hospital! Save the NHS! Save our hospital! Save the NHS!
It's a district general hospital, so most of our patients come in via the A&E. If the A&E and the acute services and the maternity service, most of the maternity services are not there, then there's not going to be inpatient wards. You know, it's really going to be a small unit. We've got a really good rapport with the district nurses and the GPs so that we can try and coordinate the care for our patients. So if there's not a hospital there anymore, then all of those links just won't be there.
Save Lewisham! Save Lewisham! Save Lewisham!
We've been told that we're selfish to fight for our hospital. The local hospitals should close in favour of big specialised centres. Of course, we support special centres for stroke or heart attack or major trauma, but they only count for about 3% of the problems that are dealt with by a hospital.
One of the arguments that has been put was that as it stands, you know, major traumas go over to King's anyway. You know, talking to people in the Lewisham A&E, they do try and take major traumas to King's, but sometimes the paramedics need to make a decision to take them to the A&E to stabilise them first, because they just won't make it there. You know, in that period of time they think the patient would die, and that's a really sensible use of the facilities that are there.
No ifs, no buts, no NHS cuts! No ifs, no buts, no NHS cuts!
These plans that are being proposed, they're not actually about improving clinical care or improving services for patients. They're actually about bailing out the PFI debt, the toxic PFI debt of neighbouring areas. Private finance initiative is a way of funding hospitals that is a bit like if you were going to buy a flat or a property using a credit card. You wouldn't do that because the rate of interest is outrageous. These debts can never be repaid. They are just sucking our hospitals dry.
It doesn't make much sense logically that Lewisham is the trust that's facing more of the services cut than any of the other trusts that it's looked at, because, you know, Lewisham itself doesn't have financial difficulties, and there hasn't been some major clinical care issues there either.
It's one of the top 40 hospitals in the country and has been so for 4 years running. Our maternity is excellent. Our new birthing centre, I've got mums just wanting to be referred there to have their babies. It's so popular.
The only logical way I can see it is that they're trying to push more patients to go to those hospitals that have got those PFIs, so that the money can keep being paid for that, which, you know, essentially it's going to companies like Barclays. There's a lot of other trusts up and down the country that have got PFIs that are inevitably going to get into financial difficulties, and they're going to use that as an excuse to shut down services.
Save our A&E!
They undermine hospitals precisely by taking services away from them. So you close down an A&E department, you take away another department, and it reduces the critical mass of what a hospital needs in order to function properly. Then they have an excuse, well, you're not viable, you're not working properly, we'll shut you down or give you away to the private sector.
What the TSA is proposing to happen at Lewisham is for it to basically be about elective surgery and non-urgent care, really. Sort of minor injuries type care, similar probably to what you get in the walk-in centre. And those services are services that would be much more attractive for the private sector to take over in the future.
We had a game last night against Aston Villa in the FA Cup. Our game, which was due to be played today because of obviously the police are here, police in the march, our game moved to Friday night. So it's certainly a cause that our fans obviously feel very strongly about. A lot of them are from Lewisham, and our players as well, and they're very much behind. And as with the game against Burnley last weekend, we have supporters of the campaign petitioning at the ground, leafleting. We had messaging on matchday programmes, we've had messages on the websites, and obviously here today supporting the campaign.
These proposals to close our hospital do not even meet Jeremy Hunt's own criteria for closing hospitals. Do these plans have the support of the local people? No! Do these plans have the support of local GPs? No! Do these plans increase your choice of services? No! Do these plans have any clinical basis whatsoever? No! This is not just about Lewisham. If they can close our successful hospital, loved by its patients and supported by its GPs, they'll feel emboldened to come after your hospital too.
We're going to have to start thinking, what do we do if they insist on closing our hospitals? Well, back in the 1980s, people faced the same problems, and workers in the hospitals and local communities responded on occasion by saying, actually, we're going to take over those hospitals. We're going to run those hospitals. We're going to keep working and keep providing services to our local communities, because they're not their hospitals to close. They're our hospitals, our services. Whose hospitals? Whose services? Whose hospitals? Our services, our hospitals. No closure. Keep on fighting. Solidarity.